Welcome, Cyber Scholars, to another episode of Power Rangers in Cyberspace. This is episode 44, Power Rangers in Cyberspace. My name, Sean Fritz. Your name, it's you.
Christian Ingram.
Yes, the Power Rangers guy.
From YouTube.com.
The YouTube.com. Yay.
Yay.
There was a stat on YouTube. This is way off topic, but there's a stat on YouTube probably 2 or 3 years ago where every hour there were 24 hours of content uploaded.
Jesus, that's a lot of content.
That was a couple years ago.
Oh, well, now it's definitely grown then.
Well, this was before like YouTube TV and what's that other thing that they do now?
YouTube Red or whatever the hell it is.
It was before that. That's what I was thinking of, before YouTube Red and, whatever other streaming stuff that they run through there. I mean, there were still channels and all that other stuff where people, influencers or whatever, had videos that they would put up. But, yeah, so I don't know what the stat is now. I'm sure it's like now a day's worth of content uploaded every 5 seconds or something.
Pretty much everybody wants to be a YouTuber now.
Yeah, well, I mean, YouTube, Twitch, all those places have all those streaming services. You can make money on them. So
I haven't made a dime yet, so
isn't it great?
Yeah,
because you do it for love of the game.
I do. It'd be like that sometimes, though.
Yeah. It's tough being a YouTube anything sometimes.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, which will be the third of 5 sections of Power Rangers in Space, we're going to touch base on some real quick news, specifically where I live in Raleigh. There is, in July, late July, the Raleigh SuperCon. Jason David Frank was announced previously. David Yost has recently been announced. So they'll be there. We might have mentioned this before, but hopefully that'll bring more of the either original team or whoever. That would be cool. Maybe they'll do a panel. I'm sure they'll do photo ops.
Always.
I'll be there, either as a spectator or maybe we'll get a table with us and the rest of the folks from the network. We're still working on the details. We'll see. We'll let you know.
Nothing's official yet, but we'll let you know when it is.
Yep. What else is in the news?
Recently, I forgot who posted it, but it was a Power Rangers Twitter account, posted a Christmas card of the SPD Rangers in the future, and we got a new Ranger. Sky Tate is the Deca Ranger, which Deca Ranger is SPD's Super Sentai name over in Japan. So, but it looks like a fusion of the Shadow Ranger and the Red Time Force Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
and it looks awesome.
Dude, it's probably one of my favorite suits of all time, if we're being completely honest.
And it's still in that gray area of, is it canon or not? Because the comic... Because, I mean, how awesome would that be if Deca Ranger shows up in like 5 to 10 years on like the anniversary episode before they get to the Old Man Tommy time frame, whatever year that was.
So SPD took place in 2025.
That's right.
And it had to have been at least 5 years after that, so I'm gonna say 2030. I don't think they said in the comic, or Soul of the Dragon, but I don't know.
There were some loose time frames, like the last time that Tommy had used his Zeo powers. I think you said 20 years, but we don't know since 20 years since when. When was that? So
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Season 45 of Mighty Morphin Power. Season 45 of Power Rangers. SPD 2. 2S, 2PD.
Yeah. Could happen.
We'll see. But yeah, that was pretty rad. And then they clarified the hierarchy. Red is team leader, blue is second in command, and then the other 3 colors are team members.
Yeah, they're just team members. There's no greater than.
They're equal.
Yeah, I mean, SPD Blue's a girl now.
Which was SPD Green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was JJ became SPD Green. I guess he just kind of assumed that role.
with the dragon shield.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how much I like it or not. I'm sure that an action figure will help me like it more.
Yeah, and then Bridge was SPD Red, like we saw in what was it? Once a Ranger, but he had the firing squad uniform. It's like the
That was
SWAT
oh,
mode,
SWAT mode is my favorite.
but all he didn't have the leg pieces or the thing on his ear. All he had was the chest part, and it was all red.
Oh, it wasn't like the gold shield, the gold chest plate that was not quite SWAT mode, but not quite the battleizer.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like red, and he had the in Delta Enforcer, I think it was.
Hmm.
So it looked cool. They had it over in the Super Sentai, in like it was like Deca Ranger 10 years later.
Oh yeah, yeah, they've done that. Like they did that with Kyogre, but it was 100 years later.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. It was a cool thing to see. Um, Hopefully we can get Sky or Chris on the show talk about Deca Ranger.
That would be pretty. I mean, I think that is he the one that tweeted it out, or was it somebody else? I can't
Yeah,
recall.
it wasn't him, but it was like a different like I forgot. I think it was like Boom Studios or like Hasbro. Someone tweeted it out.
Yeah, and I think someone else had done something else right after that, or retweeted it with some extra info or something like that.
See, I'm really happy they did that though because I never saw him as the Shadow Ranger. Everybody was like, "Oh, well, he got promoted." I'm like, "Well, it never said he got promoted to Shadow Ranger. It said he got promoted to the Commander." Like,
Hmm.
nowhere does it say he was a Shadow Ranger, which the powers were specifically made for Kruger, which would make sense that you specifically make powers for Sky since he's a new commander.
Jason Bischoff, Shadow Piper at Shadow Piper on Twitter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was he the voice of somebody? Writer, creator, comic, Power Rangers franchise, creative director for Hasbro. So he's the guy that makes all the decisions.
Yeah, so he's the man to talk to.
Maybe we could talk to him. That'd be pretty rad.
Be pretty cool. I'm down with it.
Yeah, he's pretty interactive on Twitter. Go away. I don't want to log into Twitter because I don't have one.
I have
He's
Twitter.
got, I hate it. Dude, he posted some cool fan art on here too. Like people have already made fan art.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of the like concept art for Deca Ranger.
Yeah, and here's a figure art with SPD green helmet.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With the dragon shield.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of like that. And the SPD cell phone morpher. These are
Yeah,
pretty dope.
it's very nice.
Oh, and there's the what is that? Lord Dragon Pop. I have two of those on the way.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was talking to the dude at my local comic shop today. He was like, "Yeah, we're trying to get him in, but oh no." I'm like, "It doesn't matter if you do or not, because I'm gonna get him anyways."
You just got to order them from Entertainment Earth and hope that you get them.
Yeah, my brother ordered them as soon as they were announced. Because I was at PMC, he was like, "Get these," and then he's like, "Forget it, I got them." I was like, "Dude, didn't give me but like 2 minutes."
They didn't last probably for but maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty jazzed for it to show up. Although today I did see I was doing some googling and then I started googling what I was googling. It was a custom Lord Draken Pop sitting on the throne.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen people post about it.
Yeah, it's like from some big custom shop. I forget which one though. I then spent a lot more time searching for more of them and didn't buy any, but it's probably for the best.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, I do love the custom ones though. When they look good, when they look like garbage, or when you can see the brush strokes, I'm like, come on, man, put some effort into it.
Pretty much. Some people just sell whatever they can, and they're like, "Oh, it's like good enough." Like, no.
I'm like, no, man, you're gonna charge people $95 for that.
I'm like, boy, what you thinking?
And they're thinking that people will buy them no matter what. I don't
Yeah.
need it that bad. So, any other news?
No, that's about it.
That's all I have for news. So, let's get into it.
Let's get into the goo.
Let's get into the Power Rangers in Space Go.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So So what? So what, Sean? So you like that? So this episode we're going to cover the third part, the third grouping of episodes, 18 through 25. And quite honestly, this was kind of a an accidental, happy accident in the way that these episodes felt, because it was almost like a complete story arc, like a trade from a comic.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one or two episodes were not really part of a trade, but it kind of encompassed a number of different things that it started and ended with a guest appearance. One we could have done without, one we could have done with more of. It introduced and then exited a cast member. I'm not going to spoil it. Spoiler alert. I'll spoil it later. And stuff. So let's get into it. Episode 18, True Blue to the Rescue.
I don't
Could have
care
done
what
without this one.
I don't care what anybody said. I love this episode.
I mean, honestly, I did not watch Turbo.
I can't blame you.
Yeah, well, I don't blame myself either. I don't regret not watching it. But just seeing, so to set it up, the first scene is the Piranhatrons have enslaved, Blue Lightning and Lightning McQueen.
It's
Lightning
Mountain
Cruiser
Blaster and Lightning Cruiser.
Lightning Cruiser and Storm Blaster.
Yeah, Storm Blaster. Well,
and holy hell, like, you could tell what they are. It's a Jeep and a Camaro with some really shitty body putty on it. And I love the way they communicate with revving the engine, horns, and headlights.
That's how I communicate with people.
I mean, you do what you got to do. But basically, Storm Chaser escapes from the Piranhatrons and goes and gets Justin.
Yeah. Gets a
Frickin'
kid
Justin.
in the middle of the night.
And he's got his morpher. Or a spare morpher.
Like, where was this at the end of Turbo?
Yeah, because didn't they lose their morphers, or they were destroyed, or
they
something like that?
They lost their powers because of, I think Zordon was drained or something. I don't know, dude. It was some excuse.
Well, Zordon wasn't drained because in this season, Dark Spectre captures him and to drain his powers.
Yeah, something like that.
There was some reason that because it was the end of the season, I think, is the reason that they lost their powers.
It'd be like that sometimes, though.
Yeah. But basically, it was just like a cat and mouse game for the most part. Like, Divatox didn't want to tell that she lost Lightning Cruiser or Speed Racer, Storm Chaser.
Storm Blaster?
Yes. The blue one. Makes sense, right? It's color-coded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, long story short, the team gets captured on Earth. And then Justin shows up out of nowhere, and he's morphed, and he's tall and adult-sized.
That just happens, right?
Well, it happened in, was it Kaku Ranger with the White Ranger?
Yeah.
Was it Kaku Ranger? Whatever.
Die Ranger?
Die Ranger, yeah. Wherever the White Tiger Zord Ranger and the Zords came from, yeah.
Kaku Ranger was the Alien Rangers.
Yes, that was the season after Die Ranger.
Yes.
Yes. So pretty much this was just a cameo for Justin, and from what I can imagine, it was used to tie up some loose ends from Turbo.
Yeah, that's about all it was.
I'm just trying to see here if I wrote any special. Oh yeah, his dad is Dad of the Year. I think I alluded to that. I teased that last episode. He sucks at life, and taking context clues from and body language. It's when to hit him with a shovel.
I love the way Justin said Dad. But Dad, it's Saturday.
Have you met him?
Blake Foster?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is he, what's the word I'm looking for? Is he apologetic for his portrayal of a kid on a TV show for kids that turned off a lot of kids from watching the show?
Not really.
He's just like, fuck y'all. I got paid.
I got paid that good money from Saban.
The first time.
Saban.
Yeah, Haim Saban, man, that guy knows how to. Well, he knows how to make money, and
He knows how to stretch a dollar.
oh yeah, yes sir. Not having stunt people in the first season or stunt coordinators
Good thing they
or
don't
days
use
off.
real guns, because then they'd have to like hire a gun expert, and he'd be like, it'd be ending up like The Crow. Nah,
Ooh, too soon.
it was '93. I wasn't born then.
Oh,
No,
isn't that the
'94.
cutest? Isn't that the cutest? Bless your heart.
Yeah, being 20. No, I'm 23 now. I almost said 22.
Dude, I'm 35 and a half.
Dang, we're old.
It's this wee shit.
Oh, I'm dead.
That's from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I do that shit to people all the time. At my work, I'm like, yeah, damn, I'm old. They're like, oh, I'm 45. I'm like, damn, we're about the same age. They're like, you're 23 years old. And I'm like, oh, it'd be like that.
Oh, I used to tell people that I'm ready to retire. They're like, aren't you young? I'm like, don't let this not gray head of hair fool you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, old people have gray hair most of the time.
Or they don't have hair at all.
Like, I got a couple gray ones right in here.
I don't think I have any gray hair yet. Hope
I have a
not.
birthmark back here that's just gray hair. It's been there since I was born.
Well, ain't nothing much you can do about it now.
Yeah. Well, when I get my hair cut, it really comes out because the hair above it grows long
Hmm.
and covers it, and then it's like a little happy surprise for the people cutting my hair. They're like, "Oh, this isn't. I wasn't expecting that." I'm like, "Okay, it's there. Always going to be there, unless I dye my hair."
Dye it blonde.
I dyed it black in high school, which was really weird.
I bleached mine in high school. Went through my Slim Shady phase.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing when I was like in high school. I mean, it like just barely started.
Oh, there was no Slim Shady back then. It was like, what was this?
Well,
20.
99,
It was 2011 when I went into ninth grade.
that's the cutest. Well, I was on my second career at that point.
Oh, damn.
Well, I mean, like I left retail, went to retail sales. A little different. Commission-based retail sales.
I,
Made a lot of money.
I feel it.
Yeah, my wallet felt it too. It was great at the time. Alrighty, so let's get back into it here. Episode 19, Invasion of the Body Snatcher, which is just an episode for um, Astronema to kidnap Ashley and pretend to be her in looks and attitude and get onto the ship to. Why does she want to get onto the ship?
It's like to steal the Rangers' powers or something. Steal the astromech. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. She wanted to steal the Astro Mega ship.
Didn't she already try that like a couple times before?
She
Didn't
just
work
tried
out
to
too well.
destroy it before. I don't remember her actually getting onto the Astro Mega ship. That might be later.
She got on the mega ship in
Mm,
the turtle
yes.
episode.
That's right. She did try to do that then. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that, or I blocked it out.
That was the
But I
best
thought,
episode of all time, right?
oh yeah, sure.
Hmm.
But I did like this episode, though. I mean, it really showed Tracy Lynn Cruz's Ashley, her range. Acting as two different characters in the same episode.
And that's really tough to do.
Oh, I mean, who does a really good job of it is what's his name? Tom Cavanaugh on The Flash.
Harrison Wells. Oh my
Oh yeah,
God.
and especially the episode, was it
Episode
last
200.
100,
Yeah, that's what I meant. 100.
where he played like season one Wells and season
He played
two
Eobard, Harry,
and
and
Sherlock,
sure, Sherlock Wales.
which is a little goofy if you ask me, but
I love it
whatever.
though. I love.
I know it's such a goof thing, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
All right. So, but yeah, and I did love the part where the Quantrons come down and try to, was it Cassie was with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cassie's like going full bore on these Quantrons, and she's just kind of doing like Neo Matrix stuff, like from the end of the first Matrix, where she's just like pushing them over and stuff like that. And It was kind of it made me laugh, even
It
though
was
I'm
entertaining.
yeah yeah, and I think that was probably more for the adults.
Probably.
It was like a SpongeBob joke, like the sentence enhancers.
Sentence enhancers.
Oh,
I
you've never seen that episode?
no, I have. I have.
Oh, okay. But big reveal at the end of this episode. Andros sneak. Once the day is saved by the was it the Mega Voyager
Yeah.
Megazord?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I can tell. It's really obvious to tell that this was later in the season in the Sentai because they don't call in the big guns. Like they call in the big guns like right away, periodically.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're like, we'll go with the JV squad this time. And then they're like, no, we're gonna go just right to all state for this one. It's like, come on, I can tell you're bouncing around a lot, but whatever. But at the very end, Andros sneaks into a super duper secret room, and all we see is a block of ice and a silver helmet,
Yep.
which immediately leads into the episode 20, Survival of the Silver.
I love this episode. I think it's awesome. I love Zane, but
Oh man, he cannot act to save his life though. Like hi, I'm Zane. I'm the Silver Ranger. Hello, my name is Steve. I used to be addicted to crack, but now I'm off the streets and clean. Would you like to buy a magazine? Remember Office Space?
Yeah, but he was young in this too, so I don't really blame him.
What has he done since then?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Like the dude who played the White Blaster Beetleborg, he ain't done nothing since.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't he do some time?
Who?
Oh, the dude that was the White Blaster Beetleborg?
I have no idea. He might have.
At least he looks like he did.
Yeah.
Tough times.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, true story.
But not
So-
PMC. This is a story I heard. I don't know how true it is, but Zane, or the guy who played Zane, what is his name? Justin Nemo,
I don't know.
had texted Christopher Kamen Lee and asked him if he had a condom. And Chris was at the Hilton, and he got up and he yelled, "Does anybody have a condom for Justin Nemo, the Silver Space Ranger?"
Oh, that's funny.
I was like,
Well, they're best friends.
yeah, I forgot who I heard that from, but I was like, boy. Yeah, that's funny as shit, though.
I hope it was from Chris.
I don't think he said that. I forgot. I forgot who I was talking to.
That is
So
funny.
I don't know. You can't tell. Like, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying this is what I heard.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I think that's the legal word of the
Yeah.
time. Let's see here. So in this episode, let me just look at my way too big of notes. It looks like they ripped off the Jawas from Star Wars.
I mean, they ripped off this whole season with Star Wars.
Oh, and they repeat this look again, this same costume, but in a later episode, and not for the locals, but for the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The ship got jacked. Cassie, Carlos, they find this secret room, and the rest of the team comes in, and then Andros is just like, "Hey, by the way, I know you're all in here wondering what the hell's going on, so I'm just going to stand in the doorway and tell you without making a noise beforehand."
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, man, like drop something or make a noise or something."
Basically,
and-
like tell us you're here.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, his name is Zane. He's the Silver Ranger, and he's my best friend."
Like, okay, but why is he here?
Yeah, I don't know. But then these locals, they're on this planet. They crash landed on this planet, and then they're out of power. They were also out of power on the ship. Jeez, I watched this like a week ago. We find out that Zane's been in cryo for 2 years. They have to go defend the ship from these crazy local homeless people. They're like bunch of wild animals on like bath salts or something.
Yeah.
And who comes out to save the day? But it's the Silver Ranger.
Zane?
Yeah, and Ashley's like, oh, check you out. You're from KO 35 too. That's my weakness. Boys from KO 35.
She's like, yep, that train's gonna be real.
Yeah, and, oh, my favorite is that there's something wrong with it with Zane. Andros can, as he put it, he can sense it.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. Then they beat the monster of the day, and they all meet Zane.
While he's telling Alpha a story.
Yeah, it's like,
And
dude.
And then they do that weird handshake thing, and I'm like, no.
No.
Not today, Ed boy.
No. And this is really where the bad acting just really got to me. It was episode 21, Red with Envy. I took a whole friggin' page of notes on this one. I don't know why. Well, because this was a very complex episode, too. We saw... This was more of a Darkonda came back in this episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and him and Clipper got into it yet again.
It'd be like that sometimes. Like,
well, I mean, at the beginning of the episode too, it was like, "Hey, Clipper." Like, I love Power Rangers logic too, where you go to a random planet if you're a bad guy, just a random planet, and you're there, and you just say, "Hey, Clipper, come here." Doesn't matter where he's at, he hears you, and he shows up.
basically, like, super hearing?
Well, I mean, is it super hearing? Is he just talking loud? Is the gravitational pull of the planet, like, is he looking in the proper, like, if I look north by northwest at 47 degrees and tilt my head up on the z-axis by 18 degrees and I talk, will you hear me from there? Because I'm speaking in, like, the perfect direction for the sound to travel and curve with the curve of the earth.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always been one of those things. Is like, why?
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Whatever. Hey, it's a kid show.
Kid show. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but it seems like for about 4 seconds that Darkonda wants to forge a bond with, or an agreement, an alliance. That's the word, with Ecliptor.
Yeah.
And he's like, forget that, because Ecliptor was like, fuck you, man, right in the ear. And they fight. There's a shock.
Shocker.
Yeah, and this is more of a Darkonda heavy episode where he's the main villain. And this, we're starting to see splinter factions. You know, there's a second group. And is he independent? What's his motivation, you know? Well, he wants to rule the universe. Well, couple hurdles there, cowboy.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to take down Dark Spectre, be the ultimate monarch of evil.
Yeah. And we also see some dissension among the group, mainly between Andros and Zane. And Andros is super passive about it at first because Zane's like, hey, Ashley, I'm a dude. You're not a dude. That's good for me and good for you. And by not a dude, I mean she's a female. She's a lady.
Did you just assume her gender?
Yes. Because when the show was made in 99, she was a female.
Are you
I'm
sure?
sorry. Ashley was a female. Butthead. I was really trying to skirt around it at first, and then you picked up on it. I do like how Darkonda's Crocotox are like his putties, but they have actual like defining, like they have actual like things that they do, like built-in monster type whatever. Like they can infect the water and cause people to have little dots all over them.
Yeah, they're just not useless like putties and cogs and quantrons and what was
because he grew them in a lab. They're test tube babies.
Yeah, I mean,
More or less. But let's see here. So those two are Andros and oh yeah, here. So Andros tries to ask Ashley out twice in this episode, and he's going over it like a kid in school in the hallway, and he says, "I know it's kind of boring and everybody's seen it, but do you want to go check out Haley's Comet with me?" Motherfucker, just because you've been to space or are from space doesn't mean that everybody else on the planet or not on the planet has seen Halley's Comet.
Basically, like, shit, you can take me to go see Haley's Comet.
I mean, I'd go just to be like, yeah, I was there. What are
It
you going to
ain't
do
a
about it?
date because I don't swing that way.
Are you assuming his gender and preference? He's from KO35. They might have something else.
Yes.
Let's see here. So, as far as this episode goes, basically it's a have fun storming the castle type thing,
Pretty much.
which they do. And we also come. Is this? Yeah, this is the one where. Toward the end where Zane demorphs just randomly. But I did like when he was going to Darkonda's lab on his silver cycle, which he rides that thing way too much, by the way. And he's got a surfboard.
Yeah.
You know, does he get? I mean, the Sixth Ranger does get all the cool toys. Doesn't have a Zord though.
Not yet.
Sucker. Where's that? But yeah, so I did notice when he was turning left in this like cavernous hallway tunnel type thing to get to Darkonda's lab, and he put for our video watchers, he basically he signals with his left hand like you do when you're going to turn and your turn signals don't work. He signals with his left hand like he's going to make a left turn. I was like, are you kidding me? Even when you're filming the Sentai footage and you're on a set, you still use your turn signal or turn signal equivalent?
Hey, I'm not going to complain. It's better than most people in Virginia because half of them don't know what a turn signal is.
Well, amongst other things.
Yeah,
like
true.
The dentist. Zinger.
That's West Virginia, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
True story.
Virginia's pretty bad, but West Virginia's worse.
Well, you might be right there.
Yep.
Sorry, I was distracted. Basically, this is an episode where they destroy the Crocotox, which I thought were pretty cool. I mean, in their function. And they get to Darkonda's lab, and Zane has to save them.
Yeah.
And, you know, him and Andros, there's a flashback where they're best friends, and we see the same flashback in the last episode as well, where why Zane is in a coma and all this stuff. He just took a super duper attack from whoever was attacking KO35, and that was for him to heal. And he just kind of reminisced on that a little bit, and him and Andros being friends, and there was this temporary rift between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, that happens
Character
between
development.
friends, but, you know.
Yeah, character development. In the end, Andros and Ashley go out. Zane was like, or they agreed to go out, and him and Andros were like, "Hey, we're buddies. She's just a friend."
Yep.
Yeah, which brings us to continuing with the love-themed episodes, The Silver Secret. That one and the next episode, I believe it is. No, it is this one. Yeah, The Silver Secret, which was kind of weird, but a little different in approach for Power Rangers anyway. Specifically, Andros figures out that the Silver Ranger has a 2 minute 30-second limit on his powers.
I mean, most guys can only last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It'd be like that.
So, and my favorite is she's watching fight footage. I love this random camera that just captures the footage.
Exactly. It's like,
You know, it's like, are we on Battle World? Is this X-Men? Are there Mojo's floating cameras all over the place?
at
No,
least
this is
in
Earth.
Ninja Steel, they had something like that.
Oh, did they finally start to explain it?
It was like these buzz cams, and it was like,
Oh,
it
okay.
was like
good.
Galaxy Warriors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But So she's watching this and she's like, just as I suspected, the Silver Ranger's powers are extremely limited. How did you suspect this when you didn't know that he existed until like 5 minutes, 5 minutes left in the previous episode?
Basically, like,
Like, I thought he was dead. I thought he got back on KO 35.
yeah.
And we also find out that through the monster of the day, praying mantis, that the Silver Ranger is one of the most powerful Rangers in the universe. And my favorite response to that was Astronomer. She says, yes, but only for 2.5 minutes. In my notes, I put zinger right next to that quote.
That was actually a really good comeback. Like, I was like, oh, jeez.
It made me laugh. I was like, oh, snap. And then we see Alpha. This was kind of a goofy, like a kid joke episode. Like, specifically, like, someone assumes something and they just run with it to see how far they can go with something. Like, so Alpha and Zane are like going over like, well, what the fuck, what's going on here? And Alpha's like, well, you don't have much time. And Andros overhears, you don't have much time, thinking he's going to kick it.
He's about to die for real.
Yeah, so they're like pampering, doing that standard thing, like, oh, you sit down here, don't do any work, take a load off, I'll take care of that for you. You do this, you sit there and I'll do all your work. And it's just like, whatever, man.
And he rolls with it. He's like, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing.
He's like, I'm a bad actor. I can deal with that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm dying. Let's go. Let's deal with it.
Yeah, and it was basically a reason for him to just kind of relax, especially in the next episode. But he's got to go get struck by lightning so that he can, which I find hilarious.
Oh my god, that scene where he got struck by lightning is more. Oh my god, that was awful.
What was awful was him trying to climb up that rock face. One of the times where he's falling, or not falling, but like losing his balance, he just kind of like pushes back from the rock face a little bit because clearly he was on. They turned the camera, the Batman 66 thing. Where they're climbing up the building.
Yeah.
Basically, they did the same thing with that, and that's what it looks like anyway. And he just kind of like pushes off a little bit and like, but it's so awful. Like he's got to put his back into like falling backwards, but he's on crawling on his hands and feet. It was kind of goofy.
No,
that whole and the pose, it was awful.
This whole episode was kind of dumb, but I mean, it was funny.
It's like they said, stand there like Flashdance.
Yeah.
Or Saturday Night Fever, I think was actually an even better comparable pose.
Yeah, I don't.
It was awful.
I don't even know what they were trying to go with that. I was like, oh, okay.
Do an Instagram model pose. Put your butt out. Bend your one knee.
Twerk.
Well, I mean, you can't in a photo. You could, but it's whatever. Yeah. But I love the shoulder badge that Astronomer put on the praying mantis. It's 2 minutes 30 seconds. And here's the thing, and that's obviously once the Silver Ranger shows up and morphs, that's to indicate how long he's got till he's no longer morphed. I actually like the suspense of this next part, where the countdown timer starts, and nobody else knows that Zane has limited powers except for Astronomer and the monster and her brood, but nobody knows that he fixed him either, except him.
Because nobody pays attention to stuff like that.
Well, there were no cameras around at the time. So the pregnant, yeah. So to figure out what he was doing, but what is it? So the praying mantis traps the Silver Ranger in his tentacles or his poison ivy, the swamp thing stuff, and he says, in a few short seconds, the Silver Ranger will be no more. And then you see the clock, and it says 1 minute. That's not a few short seconds, homeboy. That's a whole freaking minute. That's almost half of the total time of 2.5 minutes.
Some people can't do math.
There's logic, man. You see it go from 1 minute to 59 seconds as he's saying that. I'm like, oh, man. You couldn't have, like, come on, Chiplin. You couldn't have just, I don't know, sprung for the I don't know, $200 to put like a high school clock, like high school gym clock over top of the whatever was there and just make it 0.9 seconds.
No, that's too
Um,
much money, man. No, it's a Bond B.
well, plus they were possibly going to cancel the show after this season,
Oh yeah, they were. It's
so
not over, dude.
they weren't going to invest any money.
Yeah.
It was shred all the paperwork and take as much money home with you at the end of the day.
Yeah, but this season did super well, so they're like, oh, we'll just continue to go on.
Yeah, we'll renew you for 20 more seasons.
Basically.
But I did like the suspense with it though. Like, so as you see the clock tick down from like four, three, two, one, like where he is, like he's suspended up by this vine thing, and he explodes, and there's like a cloud of dark smoke and everything else, and everyone sells it really well. They're like, "Oh shit!" And
He just
the
killed the
monster,
Silver Ranger.
yeah, and the monster's like, "What you gonna do now? I killed one of the most powerful rangers ever."
And then Zane was like, yeet.
He comes in on his freaking bike again.
He's like,
Oh, I'm
no.
sorry, he's on his surfboard, his silverizer. Which, come on,
Super Silverizer.
call it like the board of. You can't call it the Silver Surfer board or Silver Surfboard for obvious reasons, but come up with anything else that's alliterative if you have to.
Silver Galaxy Glider.
I think didn't they call it that in the Legendary Battle?
Huh?
Didn't they call it that Did they even reference it? I know they showed it.
I don't think they said anything about it.
I mean, it was on the episode. It was the only time he was in this whole season, but I don't remember if they call it out. That was kind of an abysmal failure.
Super Megaforce was atrocious,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least.
Oh, more.
But yeah, they didn't really didn't say anything about it. He just wrote it down. They're like, oh, they're okay. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Only time we saw any of the Space Ranger costumes besides the yellow one.
Yeah.
That was it. But we got to see Super Sentai costumes we'd never seen before.
Yeah, a configuration unique to this Earth. Thanks, Goze.
God.
Goze.
Could have been the best season of Power Rangers. Ended up being the worst.
Well, I mean, we'll get to that one at some point. I'm sure it will be a painful process.
I know I'm gonna want to shoot myself.
My favorite is the lack of originality or the lack of creativity.
They stopped caring because they're like, they led up to for 4 years for the Legendary War, and then we get 2 minutes. It's like,
Yeah, we got an extended cut on Netflix. It was an extra 4 minutes.
that was still terrible.
Yeah, but my favorite in Megaforce, the first part of it, or well, maybe it was Super Megaforce too, is their Zordon equivalent, who was a pupil of Zordon. Come on, man! Like, can't you just be like, I'm the energy of Zordon, recaptured this many years later, and in this body. This is Zordon's backup body, or whatever. But his name was Goze, and Megaforce was Gozager.
Yeah.
Which I think translates somehow to angels.
It does.
Because they were, yeah. Because, I mean, the team, probably one of my favorite seasons in Sentai, quite honestly. So thematic and just so well done. Like the big bad is not the big bad. Like they go through, have you seen it?
I have not watched the Super Sentai equivalent, but I know it has to be better than Megaforce.
Dude, it is amazing. Like, so in Megaforce, yeah, the dude that has like that makes the monsters grow, the one with like sends like these eyeballs down and whatever.
Yeah, Prince Vrock or Vakar, one of them.
Yeah, Vrock, I believe. Dude actually turns out to be the big bad in Super Sentai. Spoiler alert, sorry. But like he goes through like he's a general of like 2 or 3 different regime changes. And you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like the big bad got in episode 8 already, and like he just kind of morphs his appearance just a little bit.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that because they did that in he kind of morphed his appearance in
Megaforce.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that was part of the whole show. Like he hasn't reached his final form yet because
Cell?
he's a huh?
Cell?
I don't know what he was called in Megaforce.
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Oh, I just know the phrase. I don't know what it's from. I know
This
it's
is
from
my
Dragon Ball Z.
final form.
That's all I know from it. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know. Although funny story, unrelated ish. So Harris Teeter, our grocery store. I think do you have them up there in Richmond?
No.
So it's a grocery store, Harris Teeter, like Food Lion or other places, Giant Foods. We have Food Lion down here, but they are garbage. So I go to Harris Teeter. It's a nicer-ish grocery store. Anyway, their marketing department had to have a new person in, or had a young person doing, like a younger person doing or a nerd doing the advertisement one week, and it was I want to say it was like right around Thanksgiving in the States, 3 years ago maybe, and on the front page of their, it's the fold in half, and then you open it up and there's your ad.
Yeah.
On the very top left corner, when it was folded in half, and then, in half, and then in half again, the very top corner, as you would take it out of the newspaper, said, we have, and then like big bold letters it said, well, in tinier letters it said, we have, and then in big bold letters it said, over 9,000 different savings for you this week. And I laughed because I know what over 9,000, I know the meme and all that stuff, but that's the end of that story. But it was quite entertaining, and I laughed. But in Super Sentai, this dude, like more, like I'm not gonna use more. His appearance changes, it progresses, and turns out he's the big bad. But there is one guy that comes out of nowhere who tries to usurp him, and he does the same thing with Ecliptor, and that Ecliptor and Darkana does for a while.
Which is a good storyline. I mean, if you could do it right.
Well, and they did. It was like they were merged, and they're like, where did this other dude go? They were merged for like a good 20% of the season, which is, that was 50 episodes, so maybe like 8 or 9 episodes. The dude was like, they're like, where's this dude? And they're like, oh, I guess he's gone. Maybe he died in battle.
Yeah, maybe he just skedaddled.
Yeah, who knows? But it was pretty cool. It was. I have it somewhere around here. I'll get it to you. But yeah, I think you would really enjoy it.
I kind of want to watch it because of how bad Megaforce was, and just compare it.
Oh, dude, you'll watch the first episode and be like, this is better than the whole damn season.
That's not hard to do for Megaforce, though.
Yeah, well, Troy isn't. Although their 6th Ranger is an arcade cabinet.
So my thing about Megaforce, though, and Super Megaforce is, I don't blame the cast as much as I blame the people behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Because even with we've seen even with bad actors, you can have a good season.
True.
If you have good writing. But that just...
Or you just limit them, like Carlos.
Yeah, true.
We'll get to that later.
What episode are we on again?
22, Silver Secret. Long story short, Zane shows up, saves the day. Yep. And at the end, Zane gets his comeuppance because they're like, oh, you never told us that you weren't dying. It's like, but he tried to, and you're like, oh, we gotta go save the world. You can fucking wait, Zane. And then they made him clean the mega ship.
Top to bottom.
We're here to clean your spaceship. We're here to polish your ship.
We're here to toss your salad. Jesus. And then we go into episode 23.
Date with Danger.
Another Zane episode.
Yeah, this one was rough.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't.
Oh, man. Basically, there's... with this episode, it sets it up. There's a fight with the Horrible, which there were 3 of them in this episode, and each one had a different part of them, like a horn or an arm or a shoulder pad or something that looked like a Ecliptor, which was kind of cool. I was like, oh, is he giving them power, or is he making them, or is Are they part of him, like the one where Darkana got killed the first time? Where that sliver of his skin fell off and it became a monster.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool. I'd like to see some setup on this, but we didn't get any. It was
Of
just,
course not.
he's here. Yeah. But basically, one of them was one of them was fighting Zane, and one of them was fighting the rest of the team.
Because Zane can one man.
He's one of the most powerful Rangers in the universe. But he, what is it? Astronum is like, I'll get him. I got this. And she starts shooting off her magic wand. And this dude, the monster that Zane was fighting, he gets hit. Friendly fire. So he's like, forget this. And he starts going off on Astronema. And Zane saves her, which is very counterproductive, by the way.
Because if I was him, I'd have been like, you got it.
Yeah, I think this is it. I think we just won. We're only 20 episodes in, guys. And I've only been here for 3.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hey guys, I think we can pack it in for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
To show reruns.
Yeah, basically. But I gotta save her.
Mm-hmm. But then he goes and he takes her to some jungle location, or just off the beach, where all these palm trees have come down, and he gives her some medicine that he cooked over an open fire. And she's like, "This sucks," and he's like, "Yeah, it does taste bad." And then he puts a marshmallow on the end of her staff and makes her cook it in the fire, and she eats it, and she's like, "Oh, this is good." And then they're in love.
That's about the whole episode.
Yeah. Oh, and man, it was so heavy-handed too, and like the foreshadowing was a little ridiculous. Like with the movie Star-Crossed Lovers. Come on, man. It's an allegory. It's an analogy for Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
It's kind of a, she's distracted. Zane's distracted. Astronomer's distracted. Ecliptor's like, "Hey, can we go kick some ass?" And she's like, "Don't bother me with your business right now. Maybe later." But do you remember the episode where Cassie lost her diary and it had a picture of her as a Power Ranger in it?
Yeah.
How does Astronema have a picture of Zane without his helmet on? Are they taking headshots back on KO-35? And how would she have gotten one?
Yeah, I don't.
Did she call the Flash to draw it?
Pretty much, like you just like.
And he had a picture of her. Like, why did you have this? How long have you had it? Where'd you get it? What'd you do with it before we saw you have it?
Basically, like, shit.
I mean, it's kind of, it's a kid's show.
Yeah, you could tell it's like heavily for kids. Like, yeah, this is what you get.
Yeah, but then she fires an arrow while they're on, or no, she goes to Earth and puts her Lightspeed rescue outfit on. The clothes anyway, and the look. She puts her Melody Perkins outfit on, as opposed to her astronomer outfit on, and fires a purple arrow at Zane, and he's like this far away from him, where the tree is, and it hits the tree, and it says, "Meet me at the campfire at 5." And then this is where it gets entertaining, in quotes. Is Ecliptor's like, "Forget this, we're going to go use the information crystal, and we're going to block the Rangers' weapons." And they send a monster. And Zane's like, "Well, I don't have to go, because apparently I'm not important to this episode, because everyone keeps forgetting about him, or not calling attention to the fact that he's not there when, I don't know, the rest of the team is there."
And then Alpha's like, "Nope, you need to go."
Yeah, Alpha's like, "You got to go." And he's like, "But I got my pimp swag on, and I left my morpher, I did the dumbest thing I could do, and I left my morpher underneath all these clothes that somehow I have and yet never wear them."
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on, man. Like, the logic here is a little ridiculous. But eventually Alpha sends him, and he has to go and help with
he's like, all right.
Number 3.
He's like, "All right, done. Let's go." And then goes to meet Astronema. Like, bruh.
Yeah, he leaves like the second when they called the Megazord, or pretty much, and he like takes his little moped over, and his silver moped, and he's like, "Hey, girl." And she's like, she starts zapping everything that he's got with her staff, and And she's like, I never want to see you again because you were late. Nobody stands me up.
He's like,
It's like,
hold up, you said a monster, and she's like, I ain't said nothing. Like,
it's like, so if we're enemies, A, why are we here on this date with, by the way, did you see the size of that bird that she had whipped together in a matter of 10 minutes?
yeah,
And, you know, A, why are there enemies going on a date? B, if your job is to fight these monsters that are sent and then you're late and you use that as an excuse, I think it's kind of a valid excuse,
pretty valid excuse.
and then at the end she crumples up his picture, but then she flattens it immediately.
She's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this.
Yeah.
That was a real throwaway episode.
I mean, it's set up,
Their romance.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll come back later on in the episode, in the season, but we're going to go on a Zane hiatus after this next episode, thankfully.
Episode 24, Zane's Destiny.
Yeah, and we see the Jawa outfits again
Yep.
on the planet Centaur B, which is just a dust bowl. So
Yeah, it's just a desert.
it's Chicago if Chicago were a desert.
Gross Chicago.
Well, because it's windy.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they get captured. Pretty much everybody but Zane and Andros get captured by Yatru or Yartu or whatever his name is.
Which, how convenient is that, though, that everybody that they won't recognize gets captured?
Self-preservation, I suppose.
Pretty much.
And we find out he's working with Dark Spectre, and his job is to destroy the four. I love it. They never say kill. They always say destroy the four, the hostages that they have.
Because you can't say kill in a kid's TV show.
Nope. But at the same time, what is it? They're all the people that are in this. They're living in this underground bunker, like this basement. This whatever catacombs of something. And the people are turning into like crab monsters, basically coral monsters, or part coral. Like they get hit with some white business, and it turns that body part into like a crab, lobster man, whatever.
Yeah.
And this elder Kinwan, he's like, hey, you can't, because cowboys with his beret and his paste-on mustache.
They look
like,
atrocious.
Oh yeah. It's like, hey, they're responsible for this, and he pulls this thing out of Ashley's pants, which was clearly not there to begin with. And he throws it against the wall and turns into this coral, and then, he's like, oh, they're guilty, kill them, or destroy, take them. And Kinwan's like, this isn't a trial, homeboy. And cut to the next scene, and we see Kinwan stumble in on Yatru's office, maybe. And he's talking to Dark Spectre, and he's like, hey, you're an asshole and a spy. And at that point, the killer clown from outer space monster, what is his name? I have it written down here. It was Coral something or other, which was very on the nose. Coralizer, that's it. Which then turns Kinwa's arm into he's got a coral wing, he's got a crab wing. And I guess that puts them under mind control, or like they're dumb, or something like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. But then Yatru is still spinning his web of, whoever's going to listen. But once Andros and Zane show up, Taikwa, some of these names, man. She's like, oh, hey, I know you guys. You're my homeboys from KO35. And this is a colony from people that escaped from KO35. And then Yartru is caught. He's found out. He runs away. And there's a fight. Taikwa returns everybody's morphers. Zane catches up with what's his face? What's his name? Yatru. He morphs, and big reveal. Guess who it is?
Goldar?
No, oh, that would have been awesome though. No, yeah, true. It reveals himself to be Darkonda.
Shocker.
They fight, and Kinlaw strolls in and helps Zane, gives him his sword back, and we are now at a death count of, was it 2
Yeah,
for Darkonda?
something like that. 2 or 3.
Yep, yep. And once he gets got, then everybody, or once Darkonda gets got, and at the same time, we get some Mega Voyager action, and they kill. I'm sorry, they destroy.
Yeah, don't kill. No kill.
They destroy the killer clown from outer space.
Yep.
No, they used the Astra Delta Megazord. They did not use the
Voyager.
no, for shame. But good news, Zane's going to be gone for a little while, and he's staying and helping the colony escape because Dark Spectre knows where they are now. Because apparently Dark Spectre is racist against KO-35 people.
Is that racism or
He wants to wipe out a whole
planet?
population of people. Genocide. He's genocide-horrific. I don't. He wants to commit genocide against all those from KO-35.
Yeah, well, it happens.
I mean, yeah, I mean when you have big bads from outer space, I suppose.
Pretty much.
I thought that this episode would have been a perfect if they were going to split the season in half,
Mm-hmm.
or the show into 2 seasons. This would have been a perfect break
Yeah.
because you saw Zane leaving, or well, I'm assuming it's temporarily. And
I mean, he's gone most of the season.
darn. But the next episode always a change. Episode 25. Man, the Liz Wizard, he was weird.
That's a weird name to begin with.
Yeah, but he had this. Basically, his thing was he could suck knowledge out of a computer or whatever with his tongue. His tongue was about 10 to 12 feet long.
I wonder if I can do that with my tongue.
Doubtful. But if you could, I would watch. I would have to see it. I mean, you can't claim to do it.
I'm gonna try.
And practice. Raleigh SuperCon. We'll get a table. If you can do it, we'll get a table.
Yeah, I'll suck knowledge out of people by putting my tongue on them.
I just want to see you stretch your tongue to 10 to 12 feet long.
I'll do it. I do it.
Do it.
Very nice.
Pictures on Patreon.
I actually set up my Patreon for my YouTube channel today.
Ooh. That's news. Why didn't you talk about that earlier?
Yeah. I mean, I set it up a while ago, but I just went live today. I forgot it. I never went live with it.
Doesn't YouTube have their own subscription thing or their join button?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
They
either.
might, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's there. That's all I know. I mean, sometimes it isn't. I don't know what. I don't know. But this episode was pretty cool. I liked it because, well, I didn't like it because Carlos was super brooding, super emo, and super depressed, and just had a lot of screen time. I can't spin it any differently than that. That part was kind of rough, but I think what balanced it out for the most part was we saw a cameo by Adam Park, Johnny Young Bosch.
With long hair.
I don't know how I feel about that hairstyle.
He said in an interview, he was like, "When have you ever seen Asians with super long hair?" He was
But his hair's black though. I mean, I guess maybe that's here I go generalizing again.
Did you just assume his hair color?
I did because I know what color black is.
His hair identifies as a different color.
And I guess maybe, but so yes, his hair is black, and I guess maybe that is more of a traditional Asian stereotype. But I don't know where I'm going with that.
No, he said, I forgot what interview it was, but he's like, yeah, they made me grow it out. He's like, bro, I wanted to cut it, and then I had to come back for In Space, and he was like, nah.
Yeah, but he wasn't on Turbo at all. So
Who, Johnny?
yeah, was he?
He was on half a Turbo.
Oh, that's right. That's right. During the transfer of power or whatever, the Justin's the only one that can stay
Because he's
episode
still a kid.
because he's not graduating high school, even though he's super advanced. Freaking writers. But this was just an episode for Carlos to be brooding and shine, and he did not shine at all. He would get a Razzie Award if there were Razzies for TV episodes.
Yeah, it was.
That,
I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Carlos, but it's
I mean, well, and here's the thing with it. Like, so the whole setup of this episode is when the lizard, and they showed it in the opening episode where he grabbed Andros as the Red Ranger, and he can then switch spaces with him. They basically teleport each other. And so Carlos then goes to attack the monster. Excuse me, he goes to attack the monster with his black staff of ouch or whatever it's called. And he's like up in the air and he's got it extended and he's gonna make this attack, this ouchie.
Lunar Lance.
Yes. And so he grabs Cassie, the monster, and he switches spots with her. And he injures Cassie's, I wrote it down, her left shoulder. And then Carlos is like, oh, I'm better than that. I hurt you. Dude, he switched spots with you at the last minute.
It happens.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no, I'm such a detriment to the team. I'm like, dude, you're a detriment to the show. Maybe not the team, but not the show. There's a reason they don't give you many lines. I'm hoping that's the case after this one, especially. But so he quits the team.
Turns in his morpher.
Yeah, and he goes back to Earth, and he's hanging out on some factory structure. And he sees the Liz Wizard, who's back on Earth, getting like the last bit of information that they need for some weapon they're going to make. And he's chasing around Bulk, Skull, and the Professor. And I wrote, the Liz Wiz goes to Earth, chases Bulk and Skull and the Professor because he's an idiot. Which is not wrong.
No, it's not.
But then Carlos, no, he did not quit the team at this point.
No, he was still on the team.
Yes. But he has like a flash of PTSD or something.
Yeah, he has to like calm himself down. He's like, I got this.
He's like trying to lift his arm with his other arm, and it's like, dude, you don't have gangrene or a broken bone that you can't move your arm freely.
You'll be alright.
You're mentally just. You need a Band-Aid for your brain, man.
You need a hug.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad acting is really all it is. Like the worst, the campiest of acting. It's worse campy. It's the bad campy. Like Evil Dead is campy and good. Unintentionally. This is awful campy.
That's fair.
Yeah. So basically, then he's over there. He's getting his ass kicked by himself, and then in the nick of time, Adam comes in with like some sweet ass moves. By the way, like he's just like, "Bitch, I'm not taking no shit from you," and neither is my black brethren. And I say black because they're both former and current Black Rangers.
Yeah.
So then he's like Dr. Adam Park all of a sudden. Because there's some psychology sessions and pep talk. There's then a Rocky IV training montage.
That was probably the best part of the whole show. The episode.
Guitar was awful, though. I could tell what they were going for. It was a harder, edgier guitar for the theme, but it was just way too loud and like not enough diversity in it.
Yeah. I mean,
but so you thought that was probably the best part of the episode? Was
the Rocky training? Yeah.
I mean, there was one part that happens later that's just awful, bad, good, just all at once. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you when we get there.
All right.
So then Adam kind of and during this training montage, Alpha's there. Why is Alpha not on the ship? A. who's gonna? I mean, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, there's Hey Arnold over there. No, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this robot with like Knight Rider eyes going on?
And why is he watching two people train?
Yeah,
Hello,
and
two and two.
yeah, it was like, and it was during the blood sport slash Fist of Legend blindfold fight that then all this takes place, and then Carlos is like, I can't see you, so I'm out of here, and he promptly quits the team. But Adam's like, huh, I wish I was a Ranger still.
It would have been
Which
it would have been awesome if they had just been like, all right, Carlos quits, Adam joins the team.
I'm wondering if this wasn't like a. Yeah, it was originally supposed to be a cameo, but I wonder if they weren't like still kicking that idea around. Like this guy fucking sucks. Let's get somebody who we know is good.
Yeah, I mean they could have done something to write him off the show. I mean he wasn't like the
They
worst.
did. They did.
Like I don't know, he wasn't the worst Ranger I've ever seen, but he definitely wasn't even close to the best.
You know Troy.
Oh jeez, but the thing about Troy is he could have been a good character with good writing. That's
Robo Knight.
that's why Carlos was a good character, was because of good writing.
Yeah, he just did not execute at all. Nope, nope, nope. But he quits the team, as he put it, before I hurt someone again, and he goes back to Earth. And then they send the Liz Wizard back to Earth once again, because Astronema was gonna eliminate him, execute him, kill him.
No, we don't do kill.
Mhm.
Destroy.
Destroy. Des and Troy. So, I totally forgot the one part. Adam still has his Mighty Morphin Black Morpher and Power Coin, but
From
it's all
season
jacked.
two. Season two,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's all kinds of beat to shit. He's like, I wonder if this thing still works. And Alpha's like, you can't use it, it might destroy you. Again,
He's
with
like,
the destroy.
yeah.
He's like, okay, I was just wondering. Just it's paperweight in my backpack right now.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Glass
Just
half
for-
full, half empty kind of thing.
Yeah, just for convenience sake, it's still here just in case I need it when I show up and make appearances on a show that I'm not on as a full-time team member.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lizwiz and Quantrons show up on Earth when Carlos comes back to Adam and is like, F this, I'm out. And the Quantrons attack Adam, and he pretty much wipes the floor with them. There's just a bunch of them for him to beat up. And Lizwiz is wiping the floor with Carlos. He's just manhandling him.
Just throwing him around like he's a rag doll.
And this is the part that I was talking about, where Adam's like, oh, well, I got this thing. I'm going to use it. And he grabs his Mighty Morphin Morpher and does
Adam,
his...
don't!
No! And it's in slow motion. His hair is just all over the place.
It's morphin' time!
And he does his best Jew Ranger morph.
Yeah.
Where he takes it and he flips it over.
Choo, choo, choo. Yeah.
And then they cut to a 3-second clip of him from season 2 with his hair parted down the middle. Like it was cool that time.
Hated when they did that with like different seasons. It was like, oh, you haven't been back in a while, but you're going to use a morph. Let's just show the clip from when you morphed back then.
Every time
you
used
can't update it. At least they updated it in Once a Ranger.
Oh well, yeah, that makes sense because they had so many different teams represented there too.
Yeah, but not in Forever Red. Tommy still had the long hair in Forever Red in the morph.
Yeah.
And
You didn't have a Master Morpher then to do Turbo and Zeo.
basically, shit.
Yeah. But basically, then the rest of the team shows up, and it's a team up. Sans Zane. So we go from one bad actor being the lead in an episode to another.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. But then the Rocky montage paid off because the Liz Wizard tries to do it again. He's got Adam in his clutches as Carlos is in the air, coming down again. And even though his trajectory was to fall short of Adam, like here, and hit him with his Astro Lance.
Lunar Lance.
Lunar Lance, exactly. That's what I said. We'll fix it in post. He somehow hops on his shoulder because he switched him and hits the Liz Wizard. Like it's like, dude, that gravity doesn't make sense. It's like Captain America's shield, but worse.
Yeah, welcome to the world of Power Rangers.
It's a kid show.
It'd be like that though.
Yeah. So then Monster grows. Adam demorphs because, they're not going to destroy him.
How awesome would it have been if they did though?
Man, that would have been like, or if he had like a permanent injury, like Steve Cardenas or like Rocky at the beginning of the Turbo movie.
Well, it wasn't a permanent injury because he came back in Dimensions of Danger.
True. But it was 20 years. And he was still the Red Ranger. Not the Blue Turbo Ranger. Or Blue Zeo.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's a kid show. But, basically Adam demorphs, they beat the monster, and Adam's like, hey man, that was cool. I'm gonna go back down the road.
He's like, alright, I'm out. See y'all later.
And he's like, and Carlos is like, I'm back on the team with no repercussions.
Yep.
I totally forgot that Adam made an appearance on this episode. When he came in and the way he came in, I was just like, oh, I dig it. I really liked that episode for the fact that Adam was, that Johnny Young Bosch came back. That was probably the best part of that. Well, was the only good part of that episode.
I love cameo episodes. I think they need to do more of them. It was like the whole Coda episode. What was it? The Christmas episode for Super Ninja Steel.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, this was an enjoyable episode. I think it was good. It was probably a good stopping point as well. It seemed like a one-off.
Yeah.
But it did have some character growth and development for Carlos, although he's a whiny bitch and a bad actor. But I'm sure that had something to do with, the amount of money they wanted to spend in production, how many times they wanted to retake and reshoot a scene or whatever the case may be, or a smaller schedule, a faster turnaround or a faster schedule because he wasn't on the show full time. Maybe Johnny Young Bosch was only there for a day, 2 days, and they couldn't reshoot some things. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I thought it was a good episode overall, and it was great to have a better cameo than the one with Justin.
Yeah, overall, I think this was probably the best cameo out of the whole season.
Mm-hmm. There's more though, aren't there?
In the final episodes, yeah.
Oh yeah, well that's true. So, but yeah, I like this episode. I like this contained arc, or this contained grouping of episodes 18 through 25. I thought it was a really solid arc for, like I said at the beginning, Zing comes and goes. Darn.
Oh well.
And, yeah, woo. And we get a little bit more satisfaction, but then it's not talked about for 5 episodes with Andros and Ashley. TJ's there. Cassie's a plot point in this most recent episode. But I thought overall, even with the juggling act with those 6 characters, I thought it was pretty good for a 20-year-old kid show.
Yeah, it's definitely better than some stuff today, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. So, next episode, anything else to add for this grouping?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. So, next episode, we'll talk about episodes 26 through 35, and that leaves us with 7 or 8, maybe 9. Left in the season, and I think that one might be a longer one just because of the impact. I know what happens, but just
it'll
because
be
of
8
the
episodes
impact.
after the next one.
Yeah, and that has a big impact on the series.
Yeah.
The season and the series. So I think we'll spend a lot more time than just kind of going through episode by episode. But I don't have anything else. Again, anything else you want to add or discuss?
No, I'm good.
All right, where can our cyber scholars find you?
On that YouTubes.com as the Power Rangers guy. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just go to my YouTube channel. It's all in the description. I'm on everything, essentially.
Right on. And you can find the show, Instagram, Power Rangers in Cyberspace on Instagram. You can also send us an email, powerrangersincyberspace@gmail.com. There is a Facebook page. I don't really do much with it. It's there. Maybe I'll get back into it. I don't know. I hate Facebook.
I love Facebook. It's so easy to use.
Maybe I'll make you an administrator.
I mean, that's
Um,
fine.
yeah, yeah. And that's all I got. All right, and so that's it. Yeah, power down, folks.
Hope you have a more phenomenal day.
Yes, power down. Over and out.